Swirly. We're live. Welcome back to another Epidose of these crazy people who can't get their camera synced up with their audio. My name is Tom, and got some of the usual suspects here. We got Joe Zumbo all the way down from down under. We got Janice all the way from NoCal. Some call it NorCal, but us SoCals call it NoCal. And then we got Justin All Out Life Carnivore.
No
Um,
cow.
Phoning it in from Missouri.
Missouri.
Missouri. So, what did everybody do for Easter?
Hey, hey, actually, I went for a run in the morning. I went for a big run. So, and then, yeah, I'm training for my half marathon in 6 weeks. So I had to
Woo.
get out there and do a run. Yeah, and then went to my sister's house and just ate meat, some Italian sausages, some normal Aussie sausages, and that was it. That's all I did for Easter.
That's all.
You're not worried about
That's
any
all.
seasoning in those sausages, Joe? Or is there seasoning, or is it just like a casing and meat, or casing and meat?
No, look, I'm sure there's some type of seasoning, but it's not. Look, I don't. I think if you're eating it every day, then there'd be a bit of an issue. But if you're having it as a one-off, then it's not really anything to be concerned about. And I'm only having 2 sausages. I'm not having a kilo of them or whatever, 2 pounds.
Yes, sausage is one of those things that never seems to bother me. It seems like when I cut out black pepper, that was like the worst offender. And then vegetable oils. So, how about you, Janice? What'd you do for Easter?
I took a nap. So the opposite day of Joe. I lazed around on the couch. I um, had ribeye with sour cream and chili lime Cholula, and then I had air fried chicken wings, and I made like a one of those custards, the steamed custard with heavy cream and eggs. So I just ate a lot and laid around on the couch. That's it.
Nice. Justine?
Yeah, so my Ishtar was a bit of a 2-day event. So yesterday, I smoked a whole chicken in the Traeger grill. Got it to 165 degrees on the internal temperature, and it is moist. It is like the most tasty, moist chicken I've ever eaten in my entire life. The Traeger grill actually makes chicken edible, really good. So that I was pretty proud of myself with that. Saw the new Super Mario Bros. Movie, which is really
Oh,
good. I highly recommend it. It's especially if you ever played the old Mario or new Mario games or anything. You'll probably love it. I loved it. It's a great movie. See it in IMAX. I saw it in IMAX. It's worth it. The extra like $3 a ticket or whatever. And then this morning, pay my respects to the big man upstairs. Died for our sins. And then had a Chinese hard-boiled eggs that were made in tea. I guess instead of in water, they're actually made in tea. So that was kind of interesting. I don't really like hard-boiled eggs, but that made them a bit more tolerable. Got hungry later, so I recently moved. So in Springfield, there was like no Jack in a Box for like 100 miles, like no Jack in a
Really?
Box at all. Yeah, no Jack in a Box.
Huh.
But over here in Kansas City, there's quite a few Jack in a Box. So I had like a mad hankering for a ultimate bacon cheeseburger from Jack in a Box. So I went to Jack in the Box and I got it no seasoning, no bun, no sauce, right? And when I got it, I was so disappointed because it was like tiny. Like when you take away the sauce, the bun and everything, like it's been a while since I had one and like it was really really tiny. I was like this is a snack. This is not a meal. Um then went to a great park um, called Loose Park for whatever reason. A beautiful, big, beautiful park. They have turtles and fish, and people with their dogs and all kinds of stuff. And spring is here in Missouri, and say what you will about the landscape of Missouri, but I think we have quite a beautiful spring. You know, just getting past the freezing ice of the last 4 months. But it's really nice now. The temps are good. Of course, it's going to get hotter later, but we'll enjoy these temperatures. As far as carnivore, I've been doing the Traeger grill steaks on there with a lot of flavor. They're really, really good. Smoky, nice flavor to them. And then I've been working like 12 and 13-hour shifts. So I bought the Equip Prime protein, beef protein powder. So I've been making these big shakes with the Equip protein powder and some raw eggs. That seems to, I have like a steak and one of those throughout my shift, and then I don't come home hungry, which is kind of nice and just makes easy getting up the next day. Just cut up some steak, throw it in there, make up one of those shakes, and then I'm kind of out the door. So yeah, the convenience. I don't know how people work a 12 or 13-hour shift that are not carnivore. It's like, how are you people living this way on just carbohydrates? How?
Well, I did it for many years as a chef.
Mm.
You just do it because when it's busy, you can't be asleep at the stove. You just, I think, you know what, you get through it with adrenaline. In other words.
Mm.
Actually, I just touched on you just said beef protein.
Mm.
So I went and saw Paul Mason, and he wants me to take beef protein powder.
You know, did you meet my buddy Jim when you guys were here?
No.
Yeah, he lived across the street from me on the other street there. Anyways, he had a bag of carnivore protein powder. I'd never seen it before. And I think his ex-wife bought it or something. So he gave it to me, and I've only had it once, but it's actually pretty good. And it's kind of like a whole animal kind of idea of like it's a lot of different parts of the old cow in there or something like that. So I'll take a picture of it and send it to you. So,
well, I mean, the point I was going to make is, so I had a look at it. I was looking for some with Paul or Dr. Mason, and it's actually very hard to get here. That's interesting that you mentioned it.
Yeah, I mean it's pricey. Don't get me wrong. Like steak by the pound is certainly cheaper, but if you do for whatever reason need a supplement, or you are working crazy hours and you don't have time to eat. Now I know some people, they'll just won't eat for an entire day or whatever, but I'm just not one of those people that could do that for 3 days straight and learn a new job and work for 12 13 hours. I think that's just, so what takes up most of our energy, right? It's our brain. And my job, not saying physical labor, I mean definitely you would want to increase your protein and fat intake, right? So but just because I'm in an office doesn't mean I'm not like using, right? So I'm gonna be hungry. I am pretty hungry, especially like if the last day, I'm pretty hungry. So I think it's a good idea in a pinch. And I just throw in the raw eggs for some fat and some extra protein, a little bit of milk, some water, and then the powder, and yeah, it's all shaken up, and it doesn't taste bad. I mean, it's like strawberry flavored or whatever, so that's fun. With stevia, I know Tom hates stevia, but I don't.
Yeah, and I'm not a massive fan of protein shakes, but they're definitely good gap fillers. Like they're portable. You could take them, on the road. You can stash them at work. At least I do. And then, when you run out of food, you didn't bring enough food, or you don't have time to go out and get more food, then it's a great way to like I said, fill the gaps. I know plenty of people, they hit the protein shakes every day, on purpose as part of their plan. So a lot of people do well on them. I couldn't really say I didn't do as well on them or anything. I just didn't like them as much as eating meat, and sometimes certain ones, like, I don't know, wouldn't say I get indigestion or anything like that, but I feel I don't know if it's just all that liquid or what, but it just don't feel quite as good as when I just eat regular food. So
Yeah, it does feel like something's missing. I was also looking into that keto chow product, but what pushed me away from it was that it had what's it called? That like NutraSweet or whatever into it, like sucralose. And I was like, this sounds terrible. And so that's probably how they mix up all the crazy flavors or whatever. But like
Mhm.
the supposed keto chow is supposed to be a meal replacement that's keto. That's like I think some are milk isolate and some I think are beef isolate. And then you're supposed to add butter to it when you mix up the shake or whatever. So,
well,
and
the
that's
for as far as like carnivore type stuff, the whey isolate, which is a milk protein, is by far the most common.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Oh, it's more absorbed by the gut, isn't it?
Yeah, and then you can get them. I don't know if Marge is here; she might have gone to sleep already. But some of them are actually sort of pre-digested, so they've been sort of pre-digested with enzymes, so they're easier to absorb.
Mhm.
I know the one I've gotten is Naked Whey.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's kind of pricey. It's about $100 a tub, but it's quite a bit of whey protein, and it's doesn't have a bunch of stuff in it. I mean, it doesn't really have hardly any flavor. It faintly tastes like milk, and that's it. But you can add whatever you want to it, So if you want to drink it with coffee, or you want to put sweetener in it, or butter, or whatever. I haven't tried adding butter to it, but maybe I will. That would probably be pretty nice.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, you'd want to put coffee in it, something hot, so the butter melts.
Yeah, or you definitely have
blend
to.
it up.
Yeah, you'd have to blend it up. So I just want to say hi to Sly and Kate real quick because they're over there posting in the chat. So I don't know. I'm sure you guys can see them, but anyways, just
Has
want to
anyone
say
tried
hey.
that carnivore crisp flour stuff? I keep seeing that coming into people's
Carnivore crisp flour.
some kind
What
of
is it?
flour. You know, like the makers of carnivore crisps. I think it is, but I think they now make some sort of flour that you can use to make, I don't know, like tortillas. Or I think Lily Kane was posting that she was making some sort of, I don't know, I saw it a couple times in different people's.
Interesting.
It's like a flour. It comes in like a little jar, and I haven't looked into it, but I just saw it go. A few people posted about it. No, nobody's heard of it.
no, I haven't
No,
heard of
zero.
it. No.
You're too cutting edge for us, Janice.
I literally just joined Instagram again and added carnivores, and I saw it go by a few times, and I'm out of the loop. I don't know anything. That's what I thought you guys would know.
I get in more trouble for not remembering to check Instagram than anything else in my life.
And let's not forget the original carnivore snack, the carnivore bar. Special shout out to the carnivore bar.
Yeah, we never had that guy on.
Philip
No, we
Meese.
didn't.
Yeah, I mean, he's pals with Emily. We were going to get him on at some point. It never happened. We could circle back and see if we can get him on.
What is it, like beef jerky or something?
It's like pemmican.
Yeah.
What is it?
Pemmican. So pemmican's like dried ground meat or beef in mixed with fat.
I wonder how he's
So-
going, because I mean he was very popular in the beginning, and now you don't hear about it. At least I don't hear about it anymore.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm sure. I think I mean, it's kind of more of a, how do you say, a luxury product, honestly, at its price point.
Yeah.
And so I think he's got. I mean, we know Jordan Peterson and Michaela Peterson buy them. We know Judy Cho buys them. So I think it's like the really kind of high end. Not. I mean, I'm sure it's useful to them, but I honestly, in my opinion, think the price point is out of reach for the average consumer, especially for it to be like a regular thing. Like, even though I only work 3 12-hour shifts, I could afford to buy, but like I'd have to eat like 2 a shift or something, or maybe more, and you're talking $9 a bar or something like that,
$9 US. Get that.
Yeah.
Will make people. So if you're in Australia, it costs you a lot more. per bar.
Right. Plus
As-
shipping
Plus shipping. Shipping costs more than the actual bars itself.
and shipping here in the United States has also gotten really expensive.
Wow.
Like a lot more expensive.
If I'm reading this right, 12 pack is $175.
Right.
US.
Yikes. I still have some free ones in my fridge.
So
Yeah,
how much
so
was it? So how much was it?
It's $175
There are
US.
more than your Ray-Ban glasses, Joe. Almost double your new Ray-Ban glasses.
Oh,
Okay, are you ready for this, guys? It's $262 Australian. For how many bars? For 12.
12.
Right.
God.
Then you've got shipping on top of that. Do you know how much meat I can buy from my butcher for that? Like real meat?
Oh, wow.
I'm talking maybe 10 kilos. Say anywhere between 7 to 10 kilos. So I don't know, what is it, Tom? How many pounds is that?
7 to 10 kilos. So that 7 kilos, like 15 pounds.
Yeah, for that amount. I know what I'd rather be doing.
Yeah.
So it's about US $14.60 a bar at the bulk price.
Yeah, the bulk pack it's 50 bars for $700.
Oh my God.
Sorry? All right, now I've got to work this one out.
Yeah. And they're not very big. If we weren't already live, I'd run downstairs and grab one because I'm pretty sure I still have one.
Oh.
So it's $1,049 Australian.
Now, if I put an extra $600 on top of that, I can fly to the States
So it's still even
and have a holiday.
You could fly over here and we could make pemmican ourselves.
even at the bulk price, you're still at $14 a bar. It's a fantastic product. It kind of tripped me out because like I expected it to taste like a chocolate candy bar, just because it looks like a bar, and you bite
It
into
has the
it,
texture of like
oh.
chocolate. So you bite into it, but there's no sweet. It's just slightly salty, fatty texture. It's like a soft chocolate bar, like well, if it's cold, it's harder, right? But if it's like room temperature, it's like just warm chocolate. Oh, there's Margie.
So how many
Hey, Ray, by the way.
how many grams is a bar? Well, how many bars would make an ounce? And a pound. Sorry, I should say. How many?
I'm not even sure. I'm gonna look on here and see what size they are. Maybe I should.
Because I remember we used to buy steak over there. A pound was $10.
All right, you guys, let me go grab one. Hold on. I can't resist. I'll be right back.
Yeah, just don't eat it in front of us, Tom.
Well, yeah, and so no hate to the Carnivore bar. It's an awesome product. It's really, really great, but the price point is just kind of makes it out of reach, I think, for most of it. And carnivore snacks, I think, is still like that. All this stuff is pretty pricey compared to just buying beef or just eating eggs.
I can't see you guys at all. These are my red light glasses.
Like Terminator.
There you go.
I just found out Whole Foods sells bone marrow bones, but of course they were
cool.
out when I went. They said they're like $8.99 a pound. Does that seem like a lot?
I think so. Just because it's just bones.
Look, years ago when I was a chef, when I started my apprenticeship as a chef, they would give bone marrow. They'd give bones away.
Yeah.
Nowadays they charge you a fortune for them.
Oh.
Yeah, very expensive.
Why is that? They just want to make money off of it.
Because it's not like meat. There's only so many bones in a cow that has marrow in it. I mean, you're not going to find that. So yeah. So there's a lot of demand, and the black Amex you got there.
That's the Carnivore bar.
Wait, where is it? I missed it.
I'm putting it on a scale.
On a scale.
So it says it's 8 ounces. It's very small, but it's weighed in at 8 ounces. Let's see.
What is it? 80% fat, if I remember right.
Let me zero this out. See how many grams it is for our metric.
Right. Raymond, I'll stick a rib roast, $5.99 per pound US.
What? It's only saying 8 grams. There's no way. Oh.
Kate, leave out Australian talk, Australian dollar talk. It is depressing.
All right, it's coming in at 17 grams.
17 grams.
Yeah. That can't be right. I think something's wrong with my scale. Because now it's saying 0.6 ounces. What the hell? And now it's saying 18 grams.
It's Schrodinger's bar.
Right. So, anyways. That's what it looks like once my video catches up.
You're going to open it now? Now you have to eat it.
It's open. I'm just waiting for my screwy video to catch up. I'm standing here holding it like a you know what, and my video's locked up.
Oh, there you're opening it. Now we see it up.
Oh, you guys can see it because I don't even see it in my own camera.
Pretty
yeah,
close.
we can see them now. Yeah.
Oh.
It's not like very appetizing.
I mean, I think if you need a little snack, you'd be better off having the protein shake over that.
Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, the only problem with the protein shake is, again, no fat, right? So you have to find some way to add fat to the protein shake.
Well, can't you just do like air fried, like fat trimmings and bring them in a bag for a snack if you really needed fat?
Yeah, I mean, you could have a protein shake and have some smoked or some fat air fried on your person.
I don't know why my scale is wigging.
Or like Bella and a few other people do, just bring butter and just chow down on butter sticks, right? That's
I have
like
a
a thing.
small fridge on my desk that has butter in it and eggs. I got one of those tiny little for like a 6-pack of whatever beer, like the mini fridge.
Yeah.
And if people go in there, it just has butter in it and eggs.
Yeah, I got one of those at work. I share with my buddy Marissa. It's got
Shut up,
butter, salami, cheese, protein shakes.
Mm.
Damn,
Yeah, I keep that.
what is wrong? My scale's broken. Damn it. Of course, it worked fine until I'm doing a live video. No, it don't work.
So does maybe you guys have already discussed this, but what happened to Kerrygold butter? Because it is not as good anymore. Do you know? Does anyone? I mean, Joe, I don't know if it's the same in Australia, but it
Would all be the same because it's all manufactured out of the same place and they just distribute it.
but it's just not good anymore. It's like way softer and like it just doesn't have the same. Once they like recalled it all, they said it was about something in the foil, and then they put it out on the shelves again, and now it's like different.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't know. I've sort of, I mean, apart from the whey protein isolate that I take because of my training, I don't have any dairy at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
On purpose? Yeah. You don't do well with it?
No, I just stopped having it.
Like no cheese, no
Nope.
cream, no butter.
No butter, no butter at all. No, nothing. In fact, I used to like making ghee and putting that in my keto coffee. That was quite nice. But yeah, stop that. I mean, I had coffee. Actually, I did have a coffee about a month ago, and it did have a little bit of milk in it, and it just made me feel sick the whole day. Yeah.
So do you
So
feel
I stopped.
better without dairy then, you think?
Yes.
Wow.
I think Cassie stopped. Remember Cassie?
Mm.
I think she stopped dairy at one stage as well. I don't know if she has gone back to consuming dairy, but I think she stopped from memory.
Did she do better?
I don't know.
Mm.
But can't it cause inflammation in some people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Dairy is so complicated. So like I hate just describing dairy as dairy because drinking milk, there's all you can dive into drinking milk and it's like, okay, homogenized milk, pasteurized milk, skim milk, whole milk,
A1, A2 milk,
goat milk, sheep milk,
goat milk,
raw milk.
camel
oat
milk.
milk, yeah, raw milk. And then you get into the cheeses and it's really complicated. And then eating butter is way different than drinking milk.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't feel good. I don't feel good when I eat cheese. And I feel like I get maybe a little sniffly when I have sour cream or heavy cream. And then I do decaf with Kerrygold butter in it every day still. Like I feel like butter is the one thing that I have been unwilling to cut. And I don't know if it's the same as the other kinds. But definitely like I feel worse if I eat cheese. And I'm not sure about sour cream. I'm not sure about heavy cream. And I thought butter was totally fine until they changed the Kerrygold, and now I'm kind of like, I don't know anymore.
Well, there's other grass-fed organic butters out there. I mean, Costco has their own brand of organic.
I saw it once, and then I've never seen it again. I'm just like looking for that Costco one because I think that would probably be better,
Ben Parlos is asking about Finlandia butter. I don't know if I've ever seen Finlandia butter. Certainly seen Finlandia vodka, but never.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't know they made butter. I know about their vodka. I know their vodka very well.
You might be able to get like a really nice grass-fed French butter.
Mm-hmm.
I've had that before, and that was quite nice.
Yeah.
A while ago, I went through a phase there where every time I cooked a steak, I would always put a big slab of butter on it. It was beautiful. But here's one for you. I actually do worse with chicken than I do with dairy.
I kind of think that too, but why?
And it just bloats me, and yeah, it just I don't know what it is about chicken.
I feel that way too. I added just because I couldn't find ribeye at Costco for a while, and so I started adding like the party wings just to eat the fat, air frying them, and I started feeling the same, like it's causing some sort of histamine inflammation type, kind of like just not feeling as good. So, is it because of what they feed the chickens, or?
It could be. It could also just be a psychological effect of the beef. Beef is just so. I mean, I don't know about either of you guys. If you've ever tried to abstain from beef, like have a day of meals but no beef.
Sure.
By the end of the day, you are craving beef.
Yes.
Like a mad.
That's
100%.
so true.
Yeah, I don't know if
like,
that's just psychological.
That's so true, because I just did that the other day where I had eaten other things. I had bacon, butter, eggs, and I had the chicken wings. And because there just hasn't been much beef, and I didn't have time to defrost beef. And so then I was not only hungry, but I was craving beef. So the next morning I woke up and they sell like Wagyu ground beef at Costco. And I made like 4 patties from the pack and ate the whole pack at like 7 in the morning because I was like, I need beef like right away. And it's like I felt like the whole day I felt off.
Yeah.
I felt hungry. I felt like there's something psychological. You're right. Maybe it is psychological.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's nutrition related or digestion related because I can eat an entire rotisserie chicken and just like still want a steak,
Yeah.
and then not feel quite as good. I don't mind eating some chicken. I just cooked a bunch of chicken thighs for my dog, but like even she gets tired of them pretty quick. So I wound up taking the chicken thighs and putting some chili on them because she's like, yeah, I need some beef with my chicken, please. And I got to be honest with you, Justin. When you said you put a chicken on your new Traeger grill, I lost a little bit of respect for you. I was like, damn, dude. You got a brand new pellet smoker and you put a damn chicken on it. At least get a duck or something. What's wrong with you?
They don't have duck for $9 a pound or whatever, or less than that. Whatever, a 2-pack of whole duck.
Well, if you're gonna do something unsightly like that, don't talk about it in public. Come on.
I was just amazed at how moist it was. I was like, hey, that's actually not horrible.
Let me hit a question for Razongus. I think that's how you say it. He was asking, or she, I don't know who Razongus is, but did Bella say something about Kerrygold starting to put skim milk in their butter?
Yeah, I think it is something like that. That's what I was trying to figure out. They reformulated it, and it says something like cultures or something in it, or there's some additional ingredient, and I think it does say skim milk or something in it. But it's definitely just like degraded the quality. It's like not as dense, and it doesn't seem like it has as much fat. And so while the Kerrygold was out, I was using, I found a really good butter. It's like Strauss organic European style. And it's light. It's like lightly salted, and it's like so good. Like the flavor is really good, and the density is really good. It's very fatty, but I don't think it tastes as good as the coffee. So I was just waiting for Kerrygold to come back, and they finally came back, and it's not as good. And I'm just like, what did they do? I think there was like some sort of value engineering going on. Like maybe it's just cheaper to make it or something. That's my guess, but maybe somebody else has done more like background research on it, So,
well, thanks for joining us, Razongus. And I meant to say hi to Raymond, and of course Jules is here now. So, just wanted to say hi to everybody real quick. So, anyways, yeah, I mean, none of us drink milk, right? You guys drink
on
milk?
Occasion. I'll have a glass from time to time. If I'm at a restaurant and they serve whole milk, I try to support by like ordering a glass of whole milk.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I never drink milk.
I haven't drank milk in decades now.
Yeah, same here.
I don't even know how long it's been. I know
since I ate cereal.
It's a good reason. I mean, the last time I had milk was probably on cereal, right?
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't like that taste though?
Yeah, who didn't grow up with that?
That was like my favorite. I mean, I think I lived on cereal.
Yeah, we all have.
I grew up drinking skim milk, which was like, like the watery milk. And then my parents wouldn't buy ice cream; they would buy ice milk. So I would make an ice milkshake with skim milk, and it would have all these like ice crystals in it because it wasn't really like actual ice cream,
So it had like no fat in it, just sugar.
Pretty much. I mean, it was probably like low fat, right? Because it was like ice milk, so it's got some, but basically it's a crappy milkshake.
Yeah, when you take the fat out, then you just up the sugar ratio, right? It's like protein and sugar go up because you take the fat out, right? So,
well, I wonder with that Dr. Kiltz or whatever his name is, and he says you can eat like heavy cream, like his whole thing is beef, bacon, butter, eggs, and then like ice cream and like heavy cream. And then I was listening to the guy, the X3 doctor,
Jake-ish?
John Quick.
Yeah. That's his name. He was getting interviewed by Dr. Chafee, and he was talking about heavy cream as well. And I feel like his book talks about it, that something about like your muscles like they really like heavy cream for some reason. Like it's a good source of energy or something. I don't know. And I remember thinking like, I've never known about heavy cream and whether it's like good or bad. Like, is it more on the milk side of things or more on the butter side of things in terms of like the effects?
Yeah, it seems to me it's more on the butter side.
Yeah, it's more fat content.
There's very little milk in it, you know. So a lot of people, again, that's why dairy is so complicated, because a lot of people that don't tolerate regular milk, they tolerate heavy cream, no problem. So I usually have it around. If I'm having coffee, I'll definitely put some in. I've put it in protein shakes for sure. Definitely makes them more palatable. And then I think all of us like to add it to our scrambled eggs. Makes for some nice scrambled eggs. By the way, Janice, did you see all the experimenting I did with the waffles? I tried your egg white.
And I saw your pictures look pretty good. The egg white. Did you do like egg white waffles, right?
Yeah, I did egg white, and then Justin said he was doing a whole egg mixed with cream cheese.
Ooh, that sounds good.
And I also did some egg white with a little bit of heavy cream in it, and whole egg with a little heavy cream in it. So yeah, they're kind of fun to eat. And then I was adding in like chopped up bacon, little bacon bits, or little crumbled up sausage, like breakfast sausage. Yeah, it's kind of fun.
My favorite are I just do the egg yolks, and then I do about 2 tablespoons of, like I was telling you, the European style lightly salted Strauss butter. And then I just put like a teeny tiny bit of the baking powder, you know, because it has to rise. And that's like, to me, the best. It's just like super clean. You know, it's got I don't know why you're doing the whites. I only do the yolks because I thought they were saying that there's more like histamine response to the whites.
Well, I got a bunch of egg whites when I couldn't get eggs.
Oh.
And I'm trying to find ways to get rid of them.
So it's like desperation. I thought you were choosing to use the whites.
No, I'm not crazy about egg whites, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. But the crazy thing, no, it's not crazy. I don't know why I said that. But you know how when you cook, somebody was saying the best way to eat eggs is to eat them like the yolks, so they're cooked over easy, so they're still kind of raw. But when we eat those waffles and we're like cooking the egg, does that mean it's like not as nutritious then once it becomes like this like bread format?
The never ending argument of raw versus cooked. Cool. Yeah, I had a guy, gosh, I think he saw it on Autistic Carnivores on Facebook, and he was like, oh man, I got to set you straight about eating raw meat and this and that. And this went on forever. And this happens. People get kind of triggered when you talk about eating anything raw. Of course, eating egg yolks that aren't fully cooked is probably a little more acceptable, right? Because we see it all the time, you know. But in theory, the cooking process must change the proteins and fats. And this person is a laboratory type researcher, and they're like, oh, you gotta cook it at such and such a temperature in order to denature the amino acids or the proteins, and and I'm thinking, well, if you sear a steak, the outside carbonizes, right? And also if there's any sugars in there, it's kind of caramelizing or whatever. So the exterior that's exposed to the most heat is going to be altered more than the stuff in the middle, right? And to me, that seems to be the thing that makes things a little we like the taste of it, because you know typically we're used to that, but at the same time the what's going on there, the chemistry of it, I mean, in theory, as soon as you start cooking the meat, you're generating potentially carcinogenic compounds, you know, hydrocarbons and stuff like that, which there isn't any studies that show that is likely to cause cancer in humans. Maybe if you ate a lot of like really cooked stuff, but I think it's got to be altering things on a chemical level when you expose them to heat. And then that being said, I don't like really well cooked egg whites, right? They turn into plastic in a hurry. Who likes to eat that, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I always try to cook everything like just sear and then keep the middle of the steak, or like if it's ground beef, as rare as possible, like just to get the nutrients, right? Because I figure, like, doesn't Emily eat all raw, right? She eats frozen raw.
She's frozen raw.
It has to be like more nutrients, right? Without it, like.
Well, in the studies, yeah, raw meat was slightly more nutritious than cooked meat. There's some published, you know, peer-reviewed scientific studies, but the improved nutrition that is statistically insignificant, really, when you look at it. So even though, in the laboratory go, yeah, the raw meat's a little more nutritious, it's not enough to really win an argument, But I think it has something to do with digestion, to be honest with you. And people give me, this is a typical argument. Oh, human beings have been cooking meat for millions of years. And it's like, A, there's no evidence human beings have been around for millions of years. And B, there's no evidence that we had control of fire for that long. And, this, accepted use of fire is like maybe 140,000 years. And then there's some, there was the burnt fish teeth and, that cave in Israel where they found some evidence of fire that goes back longer. But maybe people were cooking food and maybe they weren't. And then that use of fire certainly wasn't widespread. And we don't have any evidence of other hominids using fire. So, I know I'll get a bunch of hate mail from the creationists and all that, but I'm pretty much, looking at the archaeological and biological and the stable isotopes and all that and saying, now humans and pre-humans were clearly eating raw meat for a long time. And I think that's why we evolved the way we did, you know what I mean? It's kind of a circular argument. Yeah, we were doing it, and that heavily influenced how we developed as a species.
Mhm.
Doesn't negate the risk. I mean, modern meat, particularly poultry, is very likely contaminated at a factory. Ground beef gets contaminated at a factory.
Mhm.
But, people all around the world, I was trying to make this point. I'm not telling people to go out and eat raw meat. I'm just saying a lot of people do it. You know what I mean?
But people get really sick off of eating vegetables, right? Isn't there more like E. coli outbreaks with like spinach and romaine lettuce?
Spinach, yeah.
Yeah.
But I
Bread.
was watching Lily Keene had some video where she was like experimenting, like she drinks raw milk every day, and then she took it out and she did like really poorly, and then I guess she put it back in. So I just really wonder. I've never tried the raw milk thing, but I mean, do you think it's about like what it puts into your microbiome or something? Like what would, I don't know what benefit of raw milk is.
I mean, when it comes to all these little experiments, people typically do them for like a month or so. And anytime you drastically like completely eliminate something or totally go full in on something, it's going to take your body like probably a good 6 weeks to adjust. So 30 days, in my opinion, is just not enough for any kind of thing. Plus, she would have to be tracking her emotional state, her stress state, her sleep, um, her grams to protein ratios, because it could just be she was getting X number of carbohydrate and X number of fat because of the raw milk. And she didn't replace that with something else or titrate down the carbohydrate content or the sugar content in the milk. And so thus her body not being able to kick into that extra gear. Possibly. This is all complete guess.
Yeah,
But
and my suspicion would be in the other direction, that the raw milk, one, has more active enzymes and a more active culture in it, right? So it's going to digest easier, and of course, when you homogenize and pasteurize the milk, then again you're denaturing all kinds of things, including enzymes, proteins, sugars, fats, the whole nine yards, right? They're being both chemically and physically altered, so they're harder to digest. So one might go, well, if and the Amish are famous for this. It's like, their kids are typically super healthy and strong and all that, and they drink a lot of raw milk. And I think that there's just a lot of nutrition in the milk that's highly bioavailable, right? In the raw milk. It becomes less bioavailable when you homogenize and pasteurize it. So but just, I'm not saying Justin didn't make a good point. My gut would tell me it's in the other direction. So
But yeah, if you can get your hands on some raw milk. I've done raw milk. I love it. Although the last one I had tasted like lawnmower. Like it was too. That was like that cow was too grass fed. You know, like they should have really thrown in some walnuts or some corn to that cow. A little bit of extra flavor.
I bought
Legit
some raw milk and
tasted
drank
like
it,
a lot
and it
of
was
fun.
really good. But I'm just not a milk guy, you know. So I drank one bottle, you know. Like I didn't notice any difference. So as a non milk drinker.
Yeah, but I'm just not sure if there's anything. I mean, maybe like so-called microbiome wise that you can't get just from eating a variety of meats. You know, I really like Judy Cho's approach of eating. Now, again, tolerance, all that stuff, but um, you know, having a bit of seafood, having some beef, obviously, and just raw egg or some egg. And I think, not to say that beef alone you'll have nutrient deficiencies or anything like that. I'm not quite sure about that. I think when people have issues with that, I think it's more of a issue with them processing and digesting the beef rather than the beef being inefficient. And that's a whole nother like thing, which maybe raw milk helps people with that. It could be that Lily Kane, even at this point, now I know Lily Kane also does honey. I know a month ago I saw a video where she was
And she
adding
eats
in
like
honey.
apples, I think too.
Yeah, so she's doing some damage to her gut and to her body, in my opinion, making those choices. And so could be that effect didn't hit her until she took out the raw dairy, and the raw dairy may be putting some back and being healing and anti-inflammatory, compared, with her also having the apple or honey or whatever she's doing now. So yeah, these things get really complicated to truly make any sense out of it.
Can we talk about poop?
Sure, poop on.
I just since I haven't been thinking carnivore so much until recently, I don't know. Lately, I've been telling more people about it, and I just keep thinking how wonderful it is to like not have gas and not poop very much. But then that's like when you tell people you don't poop very much, they always have like a very strong reaction to that. And then I always tell them, well, like you're not having everything's being used by your body. You don't have as much waste. But I feel like lately, I was just revisiting my like reflections on my own poop, and I was thinking, I don't poop very much. And it's very pleasant because it's sort of like normal. If I'm going to poop at all, it always comes in the morning, and it's always very little, and it's like not messy, And I think it's just so nice. And I was thinking because I've been a carnivore now for almost 4 years. And I was like, well, does that mean my body's like fully adapted and like normalized? Because I feel like there was more irregularity in the beginning years. And now it's like, I almost don't think about poo at all because it's such an easy, there'll be like little to none and it's regular. So I was just wondering about you all's poo, and has it changed over the years as you've gotten farther into carnivore? Is it a good experience? As pleasant as mine. Is that too personal?
Joe's
not at all.
dying to talk about it.
Look, for me personally, I noticed that gas is non-existent for me. Like if I fart, I surprise myself. I'm like, oh, where'd that come from? It's like, oh, what's that noise? Because I'm not used to hearing it anymore. It was when I was eating carbohydrates. It was like, every couple of minutes you'd be ripping a new one. But as far as the poop, just when people, it's funny when you tell people you're at a carnivore diet, the first thing they say is, "Oh, you must be shitting bricks." So but no, in fact, I'm not. It's I don't know. It's hard to describe it. It's like a soft serve, I guess.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful. It's nice. It doesn't.
And it doesn't smell much, right? Mine doesn't smell much.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
That's because you're a girl, Janice.
That's right. I poop rainbows, right? And white light.
Yeah. Well, women actually have a little bit longer a little bit longer large intestine. So you guys actually ferment a little more than males. Yeah. So on average, women actually have smellier poo than men because of having a longer large intestine. It's kind of I don't remember why I have that factoid in my head. But
yeah, I recall seeing a study somewhere that said that women actually produce more gas, but obviously in carnivore it's probably less of an issue, probably not noticeable, right? It's probably a very minor difference.
Yeah, I don't fart at all. Like same as Joe, like I don't fart, and then if I do, it'd be like, what? Like same thing. Like, what was that? How did that happen?
It's like, did I just step on a toy on a rubber duck? It's like, hey. But one thing I did notice is that I don't need to crap every day. And when I do, it's not this big mountain. It's not like an elephant's done a shit in my toilet,
but Joe, you're Italian. You're supposed to wake up every morning, have an espresso, then take a newspaper into the toilet for an hour, the way your ancestors did.
And a cigarette as well.
And a cigarette as well.
Just for good measure. Yeah.
Is that why you have an ashtray in your bathroom?
Well, the Italians, they've got that, and they got the phone next to the toilet as well. The only thing they're missing is a little kitchenette. That's it.
All right, Justin, are you gonna go?
Interesting.
Yeah, sure. So when I was more plant-based, it was straight like cow patty, like 2-3 times a day, like for real. And the reason why I like Janice's reaction, and the reason why I say cow patty is because I went to a naturopath at the time, and she's like, "Oh, how do you go?" And she said like, "Oh, like cow patty," and I was like, "Oh, hey, actually, that's like the best, horrible best descriptor for it. When you're plant-based, you will end up in cow patty multiple times a day." And then when I first started carnivore, it was pretty liquid. So I thought like, oh, fat is awesome for me, right? So I would cook up like 4 quarter-pound burger patties or something, pour the fat in with the patties and eat the patties, but then I'd drink the fat, and drinking the fat would send me running. Like there was just like no way
drinking
there.
on the toilet.
Yeah, pretty much had to.
In one end and out the other.
Right, really. It's like, man, if you're on carnivore and stomped up or whatever, or you're having some true constipation, try liquefying some fat. Like just take like 8 ounces of liquefied fat and try to drink that without ending up exploding the bathroom. Like for real.
Right, Janice?
And now it's gone. As the years go by, it's gone healthier and healthier. Certainly the best when I was on Lion Diet, like just straight ground beef and straight steaks. Like if I only eat steaks, like 2 steaks a day, everything is awesome. I'm not that disciplined. So, but I'm really happy that for the most part, it's colon shaped. So it looks like it came out of a human being and not an herbivore. So that's a huge accomplishment on my end. And, it's not a, I don't feel like I'm passing a football. That's also really, really good.
That's so cute.
There's shit in the mango.
So yeah, I mean it's not bad. In my opinion, if you have a lot of anxiety, like I got a new job, so I'm pretty anxious about it. Like every morning before work, I've got to go because I'm anxious about work. So if you still got like, and like it used to happen to me when I was a runner too, like before races. So if you do have like some work anxiety or performance anxiety, it will probably make you go more frequently. At least it does for me. But that's again more of a psychological, physiological response to a stressor. That's not, it's not diet related. So, but that can, and I think still does happen to people, even carnivore. It'll find something to get out of me. So there you go.
Well, the other quick thing is that I love that I never have to poop at work. Ever.
Oh yeah.
Because I hate pooping like in any public, and when you're a vegetarian, like you have to poop like pretty much any time of the day, you know, like you're saying. And it's like I never ever have to do that because it's like the worst feeling when you have to poop at work.
Well, when I was
and then you open the door and there's someone waiting to use the bathroom.
When I was more of an herbivore, or as Bart would say, herbivore, because there's an H at the begining. But when I was more of an herbivore, I was going to create like a rating website of public bathrooms. So I was like constantly using public bathrooms because, you know, just out running around all the time. But yeah, because my job, I would travel a lot.
The vegans that ruin them.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. That was going to be like a website or an app, just like rating bathrooms, you know.
That's a good idea, though. For them.
Hey, Justin, we haven't done a scurvy check with these two.
Oh, yeah. How's your scurvy?
We decided that every episode we should do a scurvy check, make sure none of those carnivores have scurvy. We already talked about constipation, the other thing. But Justin, Janice, any signs of scurvy? Bleeding gums, black legs, loose teeth?
No scurvy. I feel like my teeth and my gum health is like significantly better. I used to have eroding gums and all that when I was a vegetarian. So no scurvy here. But Joe looks like he has scurvy.
Me?
You.
That's how you run so fast. You're running on a peg leg.
Yeah. A tripod.
Mr. Athlete clearly has scurvy.
No, I'm losing weight. That's probably why I look a bit sick. No, just kidding. No scurvy here at all. Zero. Teeth are good. Bones are good. Health is good. Did a blood test. Very good. Did a full blood panel. Got my results a couple of days ago. So yeah, all good in the hood.
Oh yeah, Janice, didn't you recover from a surgery like 6 months ago or something?
I had like 2 surgeries. I had the last one was, I think it was last March, actually, March 31st of last year. But the thing I was going to say is that at work in the past, say like 6 weeks, everybody was sick with everything. Like COVID was going around. There were all kinds of weird, like everyone was just getting sick over and over again, like the same people right in the area that I sit in my office.
Oh.
And I didn't get sick at all. And I was thinking, you know, I feel like it definitely has to do with carnivore, you know. And I feel like people judge me in that area for the way I eat. Like they're always seeing me like poaching eggs or eating butter, or eating steak, or walking around like skin and everyone's always giving me funny looks, and I'm like, well, I didn't get sick for all of these weeks. Everyone was like deathly ill, and I didn't get it. So, and I wasn't. I mean, I don't eat like that's to me like everyone says, oh, the scurvy thing is kind of like, I don't know, just the idea that you would have like weakened immunity, you wouldn't be getting enough of your vitamins and whatever to keep you well. And I watch what these people eat, and I'm like, well, that's why you're sick, you know. I feel bad because it's like, you know, I'm back to, you know, I'm kind of running the wellness thing again a little bit. And I'm just like, you know, they always want to talk about like we have this little app for this wellness program. And every day, like it gives you a little tip and it's like a picture of like fruits and vegetables and like based and every single thing that we do. Like we're about to have a weight management seminar. And I'm sure they're going to talk about like portion control and like, you know, plant-based. And it's just like,
move more, eat less.
Yeah, I mean, people cannot, they find it, and everyone always asks me, like, well, are you worried about your cholesterol and your blood pressure? Or that's like the first thing. Every time they see me like walking around, I carry around my ribeye steak, and I just am eating it like eating it like almost like an animal, just in like chunks because I'm busy at work. And they look at you like, ooh, you're eating that red meat. That can't be good for you, you know? It's just strange that people cannot break out of that mindset that like fruit and vegetables, and everybody's really into yogurt, like regular sweetened yogurt. Like everybody thinks like a yogurt is like a
It's so
healthy,
healthy.
like it's a good option, you know? And granola. I mean, yogurt and granola and like a banana is like the worst you can eat. Everybody's into bananas.
Yeah, everybody's convinced that like granola, yogurt, kombucha, like, oh, they're so good for you. You know, salad's so good for you. You got to have it. What do you mean you don't eat vegetables? I mean, fruits, people give you a little bit of space on fruit, but oh my God, you don't eat vegetables?
Yeah.
What the hell? And people still like, people I've known the whole journey, they're like, oh, you're still just eating meat? Like everybody assumes you gave up at some point, you know, like you're still not eating vegetables?
Yeah, that to me recently. She's like, you're still doing that?
Yeah.
I had an argument with the guy years ago, and I told him I was carnivore, and he said to me, "Oh, you know, you need to eat a balanced diet. You know, what you're doing is wrong." 2 weeks later, he came in, and I said to him, "Oh, would you like to try this?" He goes, "No, I'm a diabetic." I said, "But don't you eat a balanced diet?"
Oh.
You know, so yeah, interesting. I mean, look, I just mentioned, I had my full blood panel done. And this is Aussie lingo here. My triglycerides are 0.6, which is like extremely low. You know, for someone that eats just so much meat and fat, it's pretty good. So yeah, so cholesterol is definitely not the issue.
That's so great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm
There's
just
so much misconception.
Yeah, so much misconception for sure. I mean, I don't have any hard evidence, but you guys all know I got rear-ended on the freeway the other day, and you know, caved in the back of my car, and I'm pretty sure that if I wasn't, you know, a carnivore, I didn't have good control of my diet, and I wasn't lifting all the time, I probably would have been hurt. You know, I would have had the sore neck and all that stuff that people normally get. But I barely felt any soreness at all. In fact, I think I was texting Janice. I was like, "Oh man, I just got rear-ended." And she's like, "Are you all right? Where are you?" I'm like, "I'm at the gym lifting." I was so pissed off. I was like, and I was on my way to the gym technically, anyways. And I'm like, the gym was at the next exit, and I was like, man, maybe I can get a bungee cord to tie my trunk shut at the gym. And sure enough, I rolled in there, and I'd talk to the manager all the time. This guy Nick, he's a really nice guy. I help him fix the equipment sometimes too. And so he's like, "Oh yeah, man, we got some bungee cords around here. Let me get you one." I was like, "Yes." So yeah, I could feel a little bit, like, especially the next day, like when I go to lift, I like felt it like up here in the traps. You can't see because my video's screwed up, but like I'm thinking, man, if I'd have gotten jammed up like that and it wasn't on the right diet, you know, I mean, because everything hurt more before, you know, like when you're eating carbs, like get sciatica bad, I'd wake up in the morning, my hands would hurt, my feet would hurt, and sometimes I'd throw my neck out and be hurting. And then like all that's gone now, you know, and it's like, imagine any one of those situations that we could find ourselves in, you know. And that's kind of my thing about, I think, longevity, being strong, not necessarily you got to be a bodybuilder or weightlift, constantly weight training, but strength is kind of the thing. Because like every time I know somebody gets sick and they're stuck in bed or whatever, like if they're not strong, man, they can't even sit themselves up in bed, you know. Or, you know, a lot of people trip and fall when they get older and break a hip. And I think all that's less likely because you're going to be more agile. You have more muscle to protect your bones. Your bones will be harder because your muscles are tugging on them, you know. And obviously nutrition, our bones are mostly, the framework of our bones is mostly collagen, right? And, you know, the extracellular matrix that all the cells adhere to, that's all collagen. And it's a strong argument not to eat fruit because fruit's full of fructose, and fructose binds to collagen, and then the body can't repair it, right? So if you eat lots of protein, avoid the fructose. And I think, it's not entirely clear, but it seems like high carbohydrate diets lend themselves to chronic inflammation, right? So a little inflammation for healing is always good, but when it's a chronic situation, you're miserable and you're more likely to get cancer and so on and so forth, right? With all this risk that people talking about eating meat and your cholesterol, your blood pressure, blah, 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 blah. Inflammation in the bowels is like drastically increases your risk of bowel cancer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're eating, where we just got done talking about poop, and how regular we all are. And
I hear yours, Tom. Tell us about your poop, please.
It's every morning like clockwork, and the thing I notice is like if I do eat, like I'll eat like a low carb ice cream or something, and I think it's the milk maybe because they're usually like skim milk or whatever, and then the alternative sweeteners, plant-based sweeteners, that's when I get gas, is from stuff like that. Otherwise I don't really have it. And I did notice, I mean, it's probably TMI, but like if I eat seasonings, like that's when I notice, because like I smell it the next day. It's like weird because I don't, I'll talk about not eating pepper and stuff like that, because black pepper, and a lot of people, oddly enough, they're like, yeah, I noticed black pepper was an issue too, but it can tolerate other seasonings, like I'll eat cayenne pepper and stuff like that, but anything that's sort of aromatic. Cayenne pepper is not particularly aromatic. It's a little bit, but a lot of the other herbs, I noticed that like you notice that when you go to the bathroom, it's like, so a lot of that persists. But you're right, it's like less gas, less volume, less frequency, and as far as constipation or diarrhea, yeah, when I was doing the PKD diet, the paleo ketogenic diet, and they're like getting me to eat a lot of fat. Yeah, that definitely gave me diarrhea. And then like if you eat a lot of cheese, I mean, nobody's surprised. You eat a bunch of cheese, you can get constipated. But other than that, and I don't really eat that much cheese. I eat a little here and there. It doesn't seem to bother me. So, yeah, and I do notice, like, because I used to drink coffee all the time. And then now if I drink coffee, sometimes that'll give me not so much diarrhea, but I'll be going to the bathroom more, right? It's like it's a stimulant, So I don't know if before is just the mixed diet or the fact that my body's just more used to having that, and it wasn't as noticeable, or it's just going more frequently. But yeah, everything's regular. No signs of scurvy. Sorry, everybody. So
when I went to I bought this online program to like try to be able to do like increase your flexibility like dramatically. And the guy says at the beginning, he says, oh, well, when you're a kid, you have, I don't know if this is true, but he says, oh, you have just a lot more collagen. And that's why you can increase your flexibility a lot more readily as a child or when you're young. And then I was thinking, well, as a carnivore, we have less inflammation, but do you think we also have more collagen? I mean, we must, right? Because I remember Ray saying that he was getting like really good gains in flexibility, but he kind of linked it to like fasting. So I don't know. I just wonder, what do you guys think would be a reason for having more flexibility as a carnivore, if any?
Well, I think the diet is full of collagen, right? So there's a lot of collagen in meat, right? It's just a form of protein. And then the lack of inflammation in the joints in particular lends itself to flexibility, right? So I think we have plenty of the proteins on board to rebuild all the tissues, not just muscle. We think eating protein is good for muscle, but like we already tied it in, collagen itself, the framework of our bones and the matrix that our cells bind to is all collagen, right? And so I think we have plenty of it because it's ever present in our tissues, including our joints. So I would say carnivore probably certainly lends itself to flexibility. Of course, some of that flexibility comes down to actually doing something to move the joints to make them more flexible, right? So you need some sort of physical practice, right?
Yeah, you can't just sit there and get more flexible.
And I guess it also allows you to recover much quicker as well, being carnivore. So therefore, you can back it up day after day, you know, and increase your flexibility.
Do you feel like, Joe, because you're like in the athletic world, that like people are more judgy because everyone thinks you're supposed to be like carb loading, like doing biking and running, or people don't know what you eat, or you don't, do they judge you for not eating like all the goop?
A lot of people, when I was riding, cycling a lot, people used to, they couldn't believe I was on a carnivore diet, and I would have, you know, I mean, I remember when I first started, you'd hear all these people say, oh, you know, but you lack top end speed, and it's bullshit. If you train it, you got it. You know, it's got nothing to do with the diet. I mean, I've actually stopped cycling now, taken up running, but you know, my top end speed was amazing. You know, but yeah, I mean, with running now, I mean, I'll go out for a 1.5 hour run.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't stop. I don't have to stop to drink. I don't have to stop to eat. I just leave the front door, or walk out of my place, go for my run, come home, and I'm done. You know, so yeah, so it's recovery is really good.
And like you mentioned, I feel like I don't feel like I have to drink that much water. Like everyone at work, in addition to always being sick and always eating carbs, they're always like walking around with this huge water bottle and just drinking water all day. And I'm like, I don't think we need that much water. And they look at me like, you should be drinking more water. And I feel like, do we need that much water? You know?
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, so I drink salt water before I go, and the type of salt I use is called light salt, so it's got potassium in it.
So like electrolyte.
That's my electrolyte before I head out the door.
Yeah, I think the whole water thing's overblown for a bunch of reasons. And then I was like, see somebody walking around with like a gallon jug. I'm like, oh, I'm drinking a lot of water. And they're like, oh, I'm doing a challenge. You know, it's like it's just
see how much you can piss.
It's a gimmick that a lot of platforms use to get people engaged. You know, like do our challenge. They're like, do 20 push-ups and drink a gallon of water. And it's like, why are you drinking that much water? You know,
but then when you tell them, Tom. But then when you tell them, but yeah, you're actually pissing out your minerals and vitamins, they're like, oh, really? Yeah. You know,
I think I talked about this before. I kind of was getting into it with Amber O'Hearn. Yeah. So she was saying, well, because I was talking about, she's like, you shouldn't need to eat salt and stuff like that. And there is some evidence for that, but it seems to me, particularly here in the summer when it's hot and to drink a lot of water to stay cool, you know, that like, I need to have more salt, right? So, anyways, I think there's something to it. Of course, you know, I live in a really warm climate, and I'm a really big person. I'm sure I'm at least twice the size of Amber. So, and I think she lives in Colorado, and I live in Southern California, and she's from Canada. So maybe she doesn't know what real heat's like. Why don't you come on and tell us, Amber? I'm just saying.
I just want to reply to Raymond. Yes, it must be the new Hockers, Raymond. That they're carbon plated.
All right, guys. Well, I think some of us have some time obligations I'd like to try and honor for once. So if anybody want to just hop off, or you guys want to keep talking, or you want to wrap it up. Does democracy work on podcasts? I'm just wondering.
Well, it's almost midday here for me.
I think Justin has to go, right?
Yeah, I've got to wrap it up. So, yeah, I don't know if we're all wrapping up or just me. Either way,
we don't need you to go.
Yeah, I guess not. I've actually seen
chicken on your Traeger.
I've actually found better relief drinking less water. So,
Yes.
you got to find that balance. I don't think everyone should drink a gallon of water every day. And water can get needlessly complicated. The alkaline water, electrolyte water, river water, spring water, have seltzer water or just plain water.
Yeah, why would you drink alkaline water and dilute your stomach acid? Right?
Because it's healthy.
Well, of course it is.
Because it kills cancer by the alkalizing your blood.
Right?
Well, just quickly, I mean, you'll notice, I don't know, I'm sure everyone here's noticed that being carnivore, you don't need as much water. Whereas I remember when I was eating carbs, it was just, I found myself always thirsty. Have a plate of pasta, you got to drink a lot of water. Have a pizza, you're always drinking a lot of water.
A Dr. Pepper, that's the problem, is you're drinking a Dr. Pepper with the pizza. At least I was.
Oh, God. I think I tried Dr. Pepper once, and it was like drinking medicine.
That was my favorite.
It
I love
is
Dr.
medicine.
Pepper.
What are you talking about? So it's Dr. Pepper.
That's why it's called Dr.
Yeah.
Pepper.
Dr. Shit, it should have been called.
Oh, we're going to get sued by the beverage companies.
Good. We'll take nothing anyway.
I mean, Dr. Thunder. That's what we were talking about. There you go.
Right, Doctor.
Dr. Thunder was coming out of my rear end when I was eating carbohydrate.
That's a whole episode in itself, right?
Yeah.
Dr. Thunder Down Under. We'll just set up a studio in your bathroom with your phone and your ashtray and your newspaper. You can do a monologue about Dr. Thunder on the Carbohydrate Diet.
Well, I think they used to sit on the toilet with a cigarette so they could sort of kill the smell with the cigarette smoke and read the newspaper while they were there, till it was safe to leave. Because no one had a phone back then, so no one could look at a phone.
Right.
But it took so long, right? I remember Raymond saying he would be on the toilet for like an hour before he went carnivore.
Well, what? Wait for it to dry up like paint.
Yeah, and it's funny as that is, talk about it because we were all there at one point to some degree, right? But yeah, my friend Ceci passed away from esophageal cancer, and they said that constipation and straining to have bowel movements typically was considered to contribute to that. So she was only, God, maybe 35 or so when she passed away. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, and carnivores don't get hemorrhoids. It just
No.
doesn't seem to be. You just don't. No, none of us carnivores have to go. Tom, do you have to go buy a special pillow for your toilet? Special pillow to sit on?
I've seen what pillows they sit on. I didn't realize they're for the toilets. I thought that was just like for your regular chair. But no.
To make it more comfortable for someone like Ray who sits on there for an hour. I'd probably give him hemorrhoids or sitting on there for that long.
Yeah, I didn't realize like hemorrhoids, like they can hang down from up inside, and they can be like ball shaped. I was listening to a comedic podcast, and this famous comedian he was talking about he has a guy that comes over and puts rubber bands on them so they fall off.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, so like it's got like a nurse guy specializes in putting rubber bands around hemorrhoids.
Oh my God.
They're hanging out of his butt. I was like, what the hell? I didn't realize it was that bad.
It's disgusting.
And it's kind of one of those things that are like, oh, just wait till you're older. You're gonna have those hemorrhoids. You're gonna have to go out in and buy that Preparation H cream and all that stuff. The special pillow. Like, yeah.
My poop comes out like so fast, and it's so pleasant. I always just feel like there's not much time to do anything here. I'm gonna be done.
So you would want to be careful you don't fart and you shit yourself by accident then.
Yeah. Right. Save the Preparation H for putting under your eyes when you've been out partying too late. That's all you need it for.
Okay. I agree with you.
We've gotten a green vomit face. I think that means it's time to wrap it up. I think we've done our duty.
By talking about the rubber bands.
Yeah, probably.
I think it was Jim Jeffries that was telling that story. I'm trying to remember. I think it was on Tiger Belly. Anybody watch Tiger Belly? Bobby Lee's podcast. I think it was on there. Anyways, it blew my mind that, and I feel bad for all the people that suffer with that. I'd hate to have to call the guy. Hey, can you come over and put a rubber band on? Oh my god.
You know, there's people that have like their teenage son that's like, hey, I heard about this. Can you just help old Pop out? You know, tie some rubber bands.
Can you call up and order a newspaper so we can get some rubber bands because I got a problem?
Oh my god. Disgusting.
Oh.
What's this one?
All the abuse is still catching up.
Right. Yeah, I've totally lost track of the comments. So they're coming in flurries now because of the connection issues. So sorry everybody's comment I didn't get to. But anyways, I thought Justin would drop off by now. We got a real conversation, but I guess not. By the way, Margie's on your side. She says I pick on you too much.
Thank you, Margie. Appreciate it.
I don't think so. I think it's hilarious.
Of course you think it's funny. Dr. Robotnik and I'm Sonic. You're the Skipper and I'm Gilligan.
Is that how it is?
That's how it is.
Hey, just quickly, Neurodiva Jules just wrote, that's why doctors think we should lower our salt intake, but not understanding that we have a potassium balancing issue. As long as my potassium is higher, it regulates.
Yeah, that was an addition to our first comment. For myself, I have high blood pressure, which is caused by insulin issues long term. So my body struggles with regulating electrolytes. I need more potassium as my body holds on to the salt. So yeah,
Jules,
like
just give me 1 sec. I just want to get something to show you. I don't know if you can. I don't know where you are based. But if you're here in Australia, you can get this. I'm pretty sure you can get it overseas as well.
She lives in Hawaii.
The no salt or whatever.
1 sec. No.
Yeah, I have some of the no salt, which is like a potassium-based salt substitute. So Joe's got some other fancy stuff from.
Well, they've changed the name. It used to be called low salt. Now they've just changed it to heart salt, and that is it. So that's got So it's got potassium, sodium in it. So yeah.
Is it a higher level potassium to sodium?
So sodium is.
We wanted to know the ratios.
This product contains 29.4 grams of potassium and 17.3 grams of sodium per 100 grams. Right?
Yeah,
that's what I use. And I actually use this before I go on my long runs because, from what I understand, potassium regulates the heart. And so run cycling. I've been using it for quite a while now and it works for me.
Yep, I do something similar on days when I'm doing big lifts. You can just lift more when you put some sodium in. And
yes, sodium chloride. Yeah,
when I'm sweating a lot, I put add the potassium too. I use the new salt like Jules or the new salt, and there's another one. There's 2 brands that are easy to find here. So
it's called Heart Salt now. They've changed the name. Yeah. And it's MSG free.
MSG free.
Yeah.
So it has no flavor.
It's got a very. It's actually when you drink it, it's the water tastes different. It tastes a bit silky. It's hard to describe it. Like if I put normal salt in there, Redmond's real salt, it tastes different to this. Like the the consistency.
When I use the one, I think it's one of the salt substitutes that's got potassium in it. It has a slightly ashy flavor to it. Yeah, so whatever, it's no big deal.
Cool.
I don't see it.
Janice looking it up. She's gonna order it.
I don't see it here. They have it on Amazon.
Yeah,
All
it
right,
probably just has
guys.
a different name here.
I'm heading out. Have a nice night. It's great being on. Great to be on the
You too.
show. Great to see you, Janice and Joe.
Happy Easter.
We'll be in touch. Happy Easter, everybody.
Good to
All
see
right.
you.
How about
See
this stuff?
everyone. All right. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Bye. Oh, now that the kids are going to bed. He's still on, so he can still hear me. Ah. All right. Well, you guys want to wrap it up, or you guys want to
we'll wrap it up.
chat some more? All right, let's close this thing down. Thanks, everybody. It's good seeing everybody. Ban Parlos, Jules, Raymond Neff. Who else was here? Kate I was here. Margie was here.
Sly.
Oh, yeah, Sly was here. She was the first one in.
You're
Yeah.
right, David Jules.
And then what was the new name? It was some big acronym.
The Stranded 360 was another one.
Where'd that name go? Oh, Razongas. So, anyways, good seeing you all here. Catch us next week. Make sure to like, subscribe, get the notifications, send our videos out to all your friends and enemies. Leave it playing for the cats and dogs while they're at work, you know. So until next time, eat some meat, feel better, and whatever
And
you do,
don't fall down the carb hole.
Carb hole.
don't fall down the carb hole.
We'll get it right one day.